to your mom's credit, your surface on your cards is outstanding. Like I'm seriously, really good surface. So look at your edges, which I mean, look, this is a 60. This is a 60, right? So what are we at? 60 years old? This is a 60-year-old card?
You know,
That's a good edge.
wait a minute. I feel my beard turning grayer as we speak.
The edges here look better than your edges, okay?
The history of sports cards goes back over 100 years. We are on the pursuit to find the biggest and most interesting sports card collections across the United States. Join us as we travel the large interstates and the narrow unpaved roads in our journey to continue chasing cardboard.
So we are headed to northern Montana today to go look at a couple collections. We're gonna go meet a guy that has a nice vintage collection. It's another Friday morning. It's chilly, but we're gonna go chase some cardboard. I got a call from a guy named Carl who was interested in us coming to look at his collection. And this one's interesting because already over emails and a quick phone conversation, we realized that it might not make a lot of sense for us to buy his collection. It might make more sense for us just to help him understand what he has and help coach him on what to do to maybe give these cards to his grandkids. All right, we are here. Excited to see Carl. Carl. Tyler.
Carl,
good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So this is two of the grandkids, or is that the same? Is that baby?
Two
Nope.
of the grandkids. This is the family, same family over here.
Yeah.
And
You know, we walked in to meet Carl and Kathy, and it was just so sweet because the moment we walked in, they wanted to sit down and have pizza with us. They wanted to share a moment, break bread together. And look, we didn't even know these two, but 5 minutes and I felt like we were a part of their family. So being able to sit down with them and their hospitality was something that was really special. All because we connected over little pieces of cardboard with sports figures on it. So sweet.
well, the city of Whitefish, Montana is got to be one of the most prime locations for recreation opportunities, quality of life. If one loves the outdoors, from fly fishing to skiing to boating to biking, you have it here in Whitefish.
So tell me a little bit about the cards. I mean, I can't wait to dig into these with you.
Sure.
These your father's cards? These your cards?
I will start with how I first started collecting cards, how I was reminded by my mother, who's 100 years old. I asked my mother if she had kept the box of cards that I had in a bedroom or closet. She says, oh yes, everything's in that closet, in the old bedroom closet, in those boxes. I haven't looked at them for years, so whatever's there is there. And so we immediately, my two sons, Kyle and Christopher, we dove into those boxes, and the cards were in relatively good shape, and we decided, well, you know, maybe we should preserve these in some form or fashion and get plastic sleeves and put them in a notebook and at least have some protection of something and see what happens.
So when you see these, I mean, what kind of, what memories come back when you open this book?
When I open this book, I put myself back in my bedroom in Garden Grove, California, where I had pennants on the walls. It does stimulate memories, very pleasant memories of my childhood, and that's great. Especially at 75, you want to always look back and see what great things occurred during your life. The junior high school that I went to, which would have been 1959 to 1961, our principal, his nephew, was Duke Snyder. So at all of any of our awards banquets and so forth, Duke Snyder would come and make a presence.
Wow.
And there's a base hit number 2,000 in his career for Duke Snyder.
The Duke of Flatbush, Duke Snyder, going to your middle school? How great would that be? Duke Snyder, amazing player for the Dodgers in the 50s and the 60s, won 2 World Series with them, 1955, 1959, 400 home runs, 8-time All-Star, Hall of Famer in 1980. Man, I'd love to be a kid in that school.
This is one deep to right, way back there, going, and it is all gone for a home run for Duke Snyder. That is number 400 for the Duke. The 400th home run of his career, hit here at Crosley Field in Cincinnati.
59 tops would have been, how old would you have been in 59?
12.
Okay.
Well,
so that's
probably
the golden era
11.
for you
yeah,
collecting.
11. I turned 12 in 59 is October, so I've been 11, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So a couple of things I'm already
Sure,
going to recommend.
sure.
I brought some penny sleeves for you. We're going to put some of these good guys.
Sure. Sure.
We'll slip in some penny sleeves and then put it back in to
Well,
protect
thank
them.
you. Thank you.
It was just neat to go through and say, hey, Carl, some of these cards, man, like we got to put these in better sleeves, and these are more valuable than you think. And I think even he, as we were talking through it, realized, my goodness, some of these cards were better than I even thought. And it was just neat to be able to do that with him today. That Campanella is incredible. So who was your guy? I mean, your mom said you were a Mantle guy.
Yeah, I was a Mantle guy.
Being a Dodgers fan.
Dodgers fan, Koufax.
Yep.
And an unknown player, Norm Larker, who you never heard of,
Okay.
was the first baseman. And for whatever reason, that was my guy. And then he was, I think one year he finished in second place in the batting title to Dick Grote. But
Okay.
I am not that in tune to what, I mean, obviously there are some cards that you know are of better value, but he was looking at some cards that I wouldn't have thought had any value or as much value.
This is me, right? This is
Sure,
me.
sure,
What I
sure.
would do is, obviously, I would put some of these in some sleeves.
Sure.
And there's probably 5 in here that I would grade.
Oh,
I would
yeah,
send to
okay.
grade
Sure,
for
sure,
you.
sure.
And we could figure out how to
Yeah,
do that for you.
yeah,
Even if they come back as a 1,
Yeah,
you want these encapsulated.
sure.
So after exchanging a couple emails over the past few weeks, we decided that it came down to really him potentially selling to me or him holding on to give to his grandkids. And when I see something like that, the tendency, I think for a lot of people, is maybe to gravitate towards finding a way to buy the cards because there was a lot of really good stuff. But I love seeing guys that have emotional attachment that want to pass them down to the next generation. And so I just said, hey man, why don't we come out and let's talk through your collection. Let's find the stuff that's valuable. Let's identify the things that maybe you should take a little bit better care of. And let's find a way to pass these down to your grandkids.
At Top Shelf Breaks, we offer all major sports, WWE, Star Wars, and all things pop culture. Top Shelf has you covered with certified Fanatics memorabilia and unique collections. Visit TopShelfBreaks.com and use code CHASINGCardboard at checkout for 15% off your entire order. Click it to hit it. Let's get back to the show.
I love the art, right?
Yeah, oh.
Even
yeah,
there, you're like, that's
yeah,
a great drawing.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. It does. The cards are cards, but as you say,
Oh,
when you
yeah.
look at them, where does your mind go? Where does your heart go?
Yeah.
You know, and it goes so many different places, but I'm just fortunate to have been raised by a wonderful pair of parents in a wonderful environment. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what it hits it. You know, my father worked his tail off and to make sure that we had a good upbringing and a good experience. So that's what that reminds me. It was probably more about acquiring a full set or a full team. I'm going to go back and think about, they had checklist cards and you would check off if you had cards, or if you had a favorite team.
Jim Brown rookie.
Oh.
So back when this card came
Yeah.
out, this Jim Brown is unique. I haven't seen many of these in the wild. This is one of those cards where, as a sports card collector in general, especially as a guy that likes football cards, this is a card you want in your collection. So back when this card came
Yeah.
out, was it iconic? Was it iconic?
I don't
was it just
think
a normal?
so. I don't recall anything being outrageous. And again, in 58, this notion of collections and cards for
Sure.
value
Yeah.
really didn't exist. You know, if you had a duplicate, you'd trade it.
Yeah.
You know, or and so the value, the monetary value was non-existent.
Sure.
So it was all emotional.
You know, hearing Carl tell stories about his past, his childhood, connecting the sports memories with the sports cards is really what it's all about to me. Because as we deal with our younger generation and they start to identify players and memories for themselves, you realize that even 70 years ago, these little pieces of cardboard connect people to memories that are so important to them and their sports history. Like modern day sports cards, and they've taken off and they're overprinted beyond belief.
Sure.
But there is a small portion of kids who still grab cards, look at the stats, and they want to watch the players
Sure,
and
sure.
participate in their success. But for the most part, it's I want to buy it because it it might go up in value.
Yeah.
And
As an
the parallel is you didn't think that way when you were a kid.
Literally as an investment.
You sit down with your grandkids one day and you're passing these on to them.
Yeah.
What's the couple things you tell them about the cards? What do you want them to think about when they?
I have sat down with Ben, who's now 15 years old, and just diehard Cleveland Browns and Cleveland Guardians fan. Just knowing that he has an interest in sports and he participates in sports, focused on being successful academically. You're thumbing through them, and I think about stuff, and as you're asking the question, it does jog memories of going to sporting events and that rather than the card is just merely the vehicle that
That's exactly it.
transports me to that place.
Yeah.
Next time you're in Vegas and you want to hunt for some cards, go check out the Awesome Card Shop. They're the hippest card shop near the Strip. Mention Chasing Cardboard and get a free bonus gift in your next order. Stop settling for normal and come be awesome at the Awesome Card Shop.
I think he took as much enjoyment out of looking through those cards that I do when I look at them. I sense somebody who appreciates the nostalgia, if you will, of sports when it wasn't so much about money as it was about the enjoyment of playing and the enjoyment of watching. So even though he's a few years younger than I am, it's good to know that that's a shared thought and a shared value.
Storing cards in these books.
Sure.
One, the inside cards, usually the ones that gets damaged. Inside, because you
Oh,
end
I
up
see
flipping
that. Oh,
these
yeah.
and you
Okay.
bend that
Sure.
corner.
Sure.
So anything on the inside or outside, like Jim Brown's, I moved into the middle. Okay, so I put some sleeves on them.
Sure.
Every Jim Brown will put a penny sleeve, slip it in. So next time your kids grab it, or you grab it, you can grab it with a sleeve.
Sure.
Feel good.
Good.
So when you grade cards, right?
Yeah.
They look at a couple things. You probably already know this.
No, I literally have not done any research with grading.
Yeah. So let me give you a crash course
Sure.
in like 1 minute.
Sure.
So they look at 4 things. So for instance, this Jim Brown, when you send in a PSA or SGC, they're going to look at, okay, how is it centered? And you can tell that's not centered well, but it's centered good.
Sure.
For a vintage card, that's centered pretty good. They'll look at the surface. They'll take it out and they'll say, okay, did you, as a kid, write with a pen, scratch it, and to your mom's credit, your surface on your cards is outstanding. Like I'm serious, a really good surface. They'll look at your edges, which I mean, what are we at? 60 years old? This is a 60-year-old card?
You know,
That's a good edge.
wait a minute. I feel my beard turning grayer as we speak.
The edges here look better than your edges, okay? But no, I mean, your corner, they look at edges, corners, surface, and centering. Spectacular cards. I would say most of your cards are probably 3 to 5.
Okay.
Which, I mean, for a Jim Brown rookie. So,
Sweetheart, book that trip to Europe.
you know, we're on this journey looking for cardboard and looking for stories about cards. And a lot of times I'm hoping I get to go in and purchase great collections, add them to my own, resell, connect the cards to other buyers. But when you find a situation like this where you're able to help somebody bring back memories of their collection and then figure out the opportunity to pass them down within their family, that to me makes it all the more worthwhile. And I couldn't be more excited to be a part of Carl's story today with this cardboard. Give your mom a call and say,
I do. And
you are
it sounds
amazing.
strange, but I call her every night.
Oh, that's amazing.
And, I started collecting in 1952 or 53, and I would fight with the next door neighbor boy over a Mickey Mantle card. And as I would realize the value of that card today, at least I fought for something of worth, number one. Number two, I probably lost the fight because I don't have the cards. But
Next time we're going to go fly fishing.
Yes,
You teach me how to
yes.
fly fish. I'll grade your cards
Okay.
for you before you give them to your kids.
okay, so
We'll send them in together. That's what we're going to do.
So there's no guarantee on catching.
I'm not going out to do that. I'm going out to hang out with you. You know, again, I went into this knowing that this was not a collection that I was going to purchase, but I sat there thinking, man, I wish I could find a way to buy these cards. I did give him some tips on some cards that maybe he could grade, but this is a perfect collection, a perfect situation where you walk in, identify great condition cards, and you would send these off and build a great graded collection. Well, Carl, It has been amazing.
Well, it's
Seriously.
wonderful.
He is one of those guys you could sit back, have a drink with, and just listen to him tell stories all day. This is just the type of guy that I love talking sports and sports cards with.